All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Sorry for the little bit of mute there at the beginning. That is a public awareness message brought to us by Tobacco Motorwear Company. These guys are pretty good at doing different viral ads, things out there for motorcycle awareness. Also for their clothing brand. Give them a check out if you would. Go to their website, look at their YouTube channel. But I absolutely love that little PSA from them. It's called I'm Ryan Reynolds. It's available on YouTube, which is where we were streaming it from. I think it's pretty unique. It's definitely a way of getting a message out there. We'll play it again at the end of the show, just so that way everybody can see it here. So it's about a 2-minute video. It's a really, really good deal. We'll even post the link up to it down in the comments, so that way everybody can hear it. So it is Wednesday, May 12th, 2021, a little after 8 p.m. It is time for This Week in A.B.A.T.E. I'm one of your hosts, Josh Wachowski, State Legislative Coordinator for A.B.A.T.E of Illinois. I will be joined shortly by Chris Hansen, our Public Relations Coordinator. It's a short show tonight, thank God. There really hasn't been a lot of change. Real quick updates on everything kind of going on. You see right next to me, it says Profiling Update. We wanted to bring to you, we've been talking about the issues with the gaming board. There hasn't been any escalation from the gaming board on this. So we will be submitting a letter hopefully on Friday. If not Friday, it will be Monday this week to the gaming board stating, hey, what you're calling association is flat out profiling. You're targeting legal businesses. And for those that don't understand what's been going on, the gaming board has been going after legal businesses in northwestern Illinois who are hosting poker run stops or hosting events for different motorcycle clubs. And they are saying that because you're doing this for this motorcycle club, which, by the way, is legal business, and any other group would be able to do this as well at those places of business. They're saying it's association with known criminals, and that because it's that, they're threatening their gaming license. Now, one, they're calling people criminals without ever having given them the benefit of a trial. I'm pretty sure the Constitution speaks strongly about that. But it's also causing issues with freedom of association and freedom of expression, First Amendment, kind of big. It's number one on the Bill of Rights. So why the gaming board hates the First Amendment, I couldn't begin to tell you, but being the sanctimonious governmental entity that they are, they love harassing businesses, and that's what they're doing. And we're sick of it. We're still working through our lobbyist down at the Statehouse, Todd Vandermeide, to try to get information on gaming board appropriations hearings, because, we're going to have something to say. If you're going to give the gaming board so much money, and they're going to use this money to harass legal businesses, we're going to have a huge issue here, and we're going to bring it out. So if you got friends that are out there in clubs, friends that ride, friends part of organizations, please, let them know, hey, this is going on. We're working on it. This is one of the reasons why you should be a member for A.B.A.T.E. Other profiling going on. We call it profiling. It's a private business. It's the one thing I'm going to point out. We have a private business that initiated a no colors deal last year. The problem is that they portray themselves as a biker business. Now, he's been doing a lot more Jeep rallies since doing this. And of course, we're talking about Psycho Silo. And we bring them up because of this. They're bringing in a replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall on Memorial Day weekend. Great, patriotic, good thing, right? But they're still saying the First Amendment doesn't apply. And what's really interesting is they've been asked several times, well, are you going to allow veterans motorcycle clubs to be there in their full vests? And there's not been any response from them. They've been asked this several times through social media. Nobody's responding on it. To me, if I were a veteran and I were in a motorcycle group that has their colors banned by this business, I'd be raising some cane. I'd be writing some letters to the editor. I'd be trying to get some media attention on this and say, hey, this guy's sitting here saying that he's, all for what veterans fought for, yet he's completely against the First Amendment, and he thinks that I shouldn't be at his place of business because I wear a vest that indicates membership in a motorcycle club. I'm not a veteran. I can't take on that fight. But for those of you that are veterans out there, and those of you that belong to clubs and belong to different organizations, this may be something you want to look into. So I thought I'd bring it to your attention at least. So other things going on down at the Statehouse. It's been kind of a pretty light week down there. There wasn't a lot going on. On Thursday or Friday, we put out the notice that we wanted you to file witness slips on two bills. Those bills were heard yesterday in committee. It was House Bill 656 and House Bill 394. We're going to talk about 394 first. 394 is sponsored by Marty Moylan. He's a good friend of A.B.A.T E. Some of you heard him speak on the House floor when it came to the issue of trailer plates. This is kind of related to trailer plates. Basically, what happens is when you tow a single axle or double axle trailer up there on the tollway, you're treated as if you are a semi, as if you are, 50, 60, 70,000 pound vehicle instead of the 8,000 to 10,000 pounds that you typically would be, especially if you're towing a side by side or a motorcycle. And because they toll you so heavily on this, a simple trip up 294, I was told, is somewhere between $17 to $20 just to use 294 once. Now, that's kind of ridiculous. But Marty came up with this bill that said, no, you're going to toll it at the same rate as you would just a car. So it would be a car rate times two. Not exactly the best solution, but okay, it's better than being tolled as a semi. So he asked for our support in this because one of the groups that's heavily affected by this are side-by-side users and dirt bike users and motorcycle users in northeastern Illinois. If you're anywhere in northeastern Illinois, you've got 355, you've got 294, you've got all sorts of other tollways up there. They love to build new tollways right where there used to be perfectly good roads that you didn't have to constantly pay for to use. It's just what they do. So we agreed to support him in this. And he expected the bill to be called. We expected the bill to be called. I was a oral testimony proponent for it, was logged into the Zoom meeting. And right at the beginning of the Zoom meeting, first thing the chairman says is the following bills are not going to be heard now. House Bill 394. Well, crap, there went that day. Basically, that's what I was thinking in my head. But we did have another bill that was posted in that same committee, and that was House Bill 656. So House Bill 656, we've heard some complaints from membership about it. People saying that, it's not worth us doing. We shouldn't support something that says that you have to comply with a little bit of safety. Here's the issue. The original intent of 656, or the original language of its predecessor last session, was going to be a ban on children either 8 or 10 years old. They weren't decided whether it was going to be 8 or 10 was going to be the cutoff. That's what we were facing, was a potential ban on children on motorcycles. And this was caused because some people were behaving recklessly on motorcycles with very small children. And because they were behaving recklessly, some of the county sheriffs were very concerned about even having kids on motorcycles, period. So 656 was a compromise. When I did research into the issue, we found that the law stated, 1, you can't have a kid on a gas tank, which was part of the problem. But 2, your passenger actually has to be behind you on a motorcycle or in a sidecar, which is legal. If the passenger is behind you, there has to be a footrest present. There has to be footrests on either side present. So because of that, okay, passenger has to be behind you, footrests have to be present, but the law did not state that the passenger has to be able to touch the footrest. Okay, we can make this work. So we made the suggestion that they say they have to be able to touch a footrest. Just one, in case we've got an amputee out there. The other thing is, there's nothing in the law that says that you can't modify the footrest. And we know several companies that make footrests for shorter people. And it's 4 bolts, bolt off, bolt on, real easy to get done. There's the flip up like switchblade style that do that as well. So it's a simple solution. We can avoid a ban on kids on motorcycles. We do something that makes our friends in law enforcement happy. It makes us look better because we're proactively working on something together rather than a fight on our hands. It's a win-win all the way around. We can't win 100% of everything. We're not always going to get our way. But we can work with partners to try to develop reasonable solutions and be known as a reasonable group down at the Statehouse, which then leads into the other bill that's in play. Senate Bill 1231 was heard today. That's Senate Bill 1231, Amendment 1, which was heard. It was passed out of the Senate. It's now in the House. This is another bill where, because we have a reputation as being a fierce but reasonable group, we were able to negotiate language with Polaris to keep extraordinarily large off-road vehicles off the regular recreational trails. Polaris gets to sell their vehicle in Illinois, but the vehicle won't affect the trails, which are protected for regular side-by-sides, regular dirt bikes, regular ATVs. We're all good to go here. Trail users are happy. Trail owners are happy. Some other trail owners that do plan on catering to these large vehicles, they cater to mud trucks, everything else. Those guys are happy. It's win-win all the way around. Sometimes that's what this is. It's the art of compromise down there. There are certain things, of course, we will never compromise on. But this kind of stuff, it's all good for us. It helps us down at the Statehouse get a better reputation, and it makes us more effective when we're lobbying for other things down there. So thank you to everybody that's filled out those witness slips. I already see the stuff about trailer plates. Look, we're going to talk trailer plates. Trailer plates are going to be towards the very end. Chris and I have a very, very special message for those of you on trailer plates. So stay tuned through the rest of the show. But speaking of Chris, let me get this queued up here. I'm going to bring Chris on, and Chris is going to talk about the very first event. And the very first event that we're going to talk about is not a motorcycle event. So why is it on the show? Very simple. We have legislative partners that have been very, very good to us. One of them is Senate Minority Leader Dan McConkey. Dan is in a wheelchair. He is in a wheelchair as a result of a motorcycle accident. He is a very good force for A.B.A.T.E underneath the Statehouse dome. He supports us very much. A lot of you who were at our Legislative Day reception, Dan was right there. He was very happy to come over. Anything that we've ever needed in the Senate, he has been there for us 100% of the time. An incredible partner. Part of our jobs, part of their jobs, is public outreach. So they reach out to groups like us for public outreach. And Dan reached out to us for public outreach on the issue of COVID, on the issue of coronavirus. And for those of you that don't know, there are these large vaccine clinics that are going. Now, regardless of your feelings of whether or not you want the vaccine, the fact is we have to reach certain percentages vaccinated before this state can fully open back up. And Senate Leader McConkey is working on this. He doesn't want to see the excuses that are being put out there to keep this state shut down any more than what it is. So as a result, he's doing public outreach. He asked for our help. So with that, I'm going to give it over to Chris. Chris, if you would, talk about this first event, please. Here you go, buddy.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks, Josh. And as Josh said, Dan has reached out and asked us to kind of help him spread the word on this event. So again, I get could be a touchy subject, but we're going to help him out because he helps us. So this Saturday, May 15th, he has got his COVID, and it is free COVID-19 vaccination clinic going. It's at the Algonquin Public Works facility from 9 to 4. So the first one will be this Saturday. Pending the authorization for the use of the Pfizer vaccine in kids 12 to 15, which they say they should have in the next 24 hours, which I believe has been approved, but going off his message. They will be doing this from ages 12 on up. So you can go and get the vaccination. Like Josh says, they have to hit certain numbers. So the first one is May 15th, like I said, from 9 to 4 at the Algonquin Public Works facility. The second one will be June 5th. You got to have that couple of week time frame in between there. So if you are looking for the vaccination, Dan McConkey has this event going on. It is free. All you got to do is go to Algonquin and you can get rolling on that. So that is, again, this Saturday, May 15th. So then from there, we will move on also on the 15th to the St. Clair County A.B.A.T.E 30th anniversary ride. That is going to be a kickstands up at noon event. But the blessing of the bikes will be happening at 11:30. It's a free 100-mile ride. Again, free. You don't have to pay a thing. 100-mile ride starts at TR's place, ends at Night Moves, and at the end, free food and free music. So you've got a whole 100-mile ride, free food, free music. It's all free. All vehicles are welcome out there to support St. Clair County. If you're not going to hit that one, you can head over to the Open Roads Summer Book Ride, also on the 15th. That's their first ride of the year. That starts at 8 a.m. at the Plano American Legion. And kickstands, like I said, are up at 8 a.m. And what they do is they ride around to some of their stops in their Open Roads book. So you can go put on some miles. You can get your stamps and be well on your way to filling out that Open Roads book. So make sure you're attending these events. And then we're going to go on to May 21st, and it is the Open Roads Escort of the Middle East Conflicts Wall. And kind of a fun thing, too, I actually saw Stephanie Kiffel at the state rep, who just won Representative of the Year for 2020, put out some information on this, also requesting volunteers. So what you can do is ride with Open Roads ABATE. They are going to be escorting the, like I said, Middle East Conflicts Wall. You've got different points where they're checking in, so if you can't make it to the start, you can meet up with them along the way. It ends up at the Oswego Town Hall. Check out all the flyer, contact Linda if you have more questions on that, but that is something you could be a very cool part of. So then the following day on the 22nd, we've been talking about this event for a little bit. It's the Eastern Illinois ABATE annual Roll the Bones run. Now, what I do want to point out is that there was a change of the starting point. So it is now meeting at the Log Cabin Bar and Grill. So make sure you note the change of the starting point. Sign up is from 9 to 11 a.m. That's $10 a person. Kickstands are up at 11. All vehicles are welcome, and you ride for those who no longer can. So go out and support Eastern Illinois ABATE. And also on the 22nd is the Liberty ABATE Poker Run. Sign up is at the Mattoon Moose from 9 to 9:45. Kickstands are up at 10. Only $5 to ride. They're going to be heading to Buford's Pub. And again, you can get a $5 poker hand. You can buy more than one poker hand, just so you know. And they're going to have a 50-50 participation raffle. So they got a whole bunch of stuff going on at that event. Another fun day. And then, again, another ride on the 22nd is the Kishwaukee Valley ABATE Veterans Memorial Run. It's at the Roscoe VFW, and that is $10 a person. Sign-up's 11 to noon, open to the public. Call Kurt if you've got more info, but another way you can ride for the veterans. And then, speaking of veterans rides, on June 5th, Shoal Creek ABATE has got their veterans ride. Sign-up is 10 to 11 at the American Legion. Kickstands are up at 11. It's a 75-mile ride. They're going to stop at various different VFWs and end at the VFW in Panama. It's only $6 a hand, $2 for each additional hand that you get, 50-50 drawings, again, a whole nother thing. So you can ride for the veterans again on June 5th with Shoal Creek ABATE. And then we're going to move on to June 12th, the Flag Day Run for 10 Mile Creek Chapter. Sign up is from 9 to 10 a.m. Kickstands are up at 10. $10 a person or $15 a couple. If you join their chapter that day, the ride is free. So you can become a member and ride for free. They're doing this ride to show appreciation for our veterans and their service for protecting our flag. They're going to be visiting different VFWs and American Legions on that ride. So you can ride in that. And then on the 12th is also the Heart of Illinois ABATE Fun Run. Starts at Cadillac Jack's. Signups from 10 to 11. It's only $5 a person, and they'll be ending at the Vault Bar and Grill. So Heart of Illinois always does a good job putting on these runs. So make sure you get out there and ride with them. And then the last event I'm going to talk about is June 24th to 27th, and I know everybody's been waiting for this one. It is the annual state party. Goes, like I said, Thursday the 24th, they've got a dinner ride at 5, live DJ. Friday, they've got cart teams and chapter challenges, more music. Saturday is biker games, open invite bike show. I do want to point out that it was pointed out to me that there is an error in the email down below. It should be abateil87@yahoo.com. So if you did send an email and it bounced back, just make sure you update that. We are working on an updated flyer. But you can see all the prices there. This is a whole weekend to party with ABATE. This is always a good time. I know everybody gets excited about this event, as they should. So come on out. I mean, it's over 30 years of bikers' rights you can come out and celebrate and party with and hang out with all the chapters. So those are your events coming up.
All All right. Thank you very much, Chris. We greatly appreciate it. There's Chris Hansen with your event updates throughout the state. I'm going to give Chris a chance just to catch his breath right now because I got a feeling this next one's going to be a lot of fun with him. So while I'm going to give him that moment to catch a breath, catch a drink or something, um, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the other things going on down at the Statehouse. Believe it or not, driverless cars, autonomous vehicles, we expect that there's going to be something next year on these. Bottom line is there's over 10,000 Teslas on Illinois roadways right now. And if you've been following the news, a lot of you have been sending me in stuff with the crazy stuff going on with these Teslas and the autopilot. We've got people that are jumping in the back seat thinking that this thing can fully drive itself. We had two guys that were killed 2-3 weeks ago somewhere in there, and the fire raged for 3.5 hours. This thing slammed into a tree, and nobody could get the batteries put out. We had the issue with the summon mode in New Jersey, where it was driving by itself in a parking lot and almost took out a toddler. I'm in a Facebook group for electric vehicle people because I'm tracking what's going on with electric vehicles. They're coming, whether you like it or not. I can tell you I participated in a seminar last week where we were given facts and figures as to how many electric vehicles are going to be produced every year and the amount of energy it's going to take to charge them. For those who don't know, my day job's an electric utility. It was astounding. Just in the last 14 months, we have seen a doubling of charging stations nationwide. We went from 21,000 about 14 months ago to over 43,000. So electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, all this stuff's coming. We're going to be able to start dealing with it. It's kind of what the future is. But enough about the future. Let's talk about everybody's favorite subject. It is, in fact, trailer plates. So, trailer plates, where are we at? I'm going to go a little bit into where we're at, but here's kind of the deal. It's on hold. There's things that are supposedly going on behind the scenes. But before we go to that, or as we go to that, I'm going to say, I'm going to bring back Chris here, and we're going to tackle this together. Chris, how we doing, buddy?
Oh, we're doing. I can hardly wait on this topic.
All righty. So, as you can see, we've changed the screen here. It says rant and roll. It says in quotation marks, what are you doing about trailer plates? This is a question that I hear, I kid you not, when I went to the Freedom Fest in Taylorville, I was not off of my motorcycle less than a minute before somebody asked me this question. I heard this question 6 times in under 10 minutes. But here's the weird thing. This is the way it's continually phrased. What are you doing? It's not, it's either what are you doing or what is ABATE doing? Okay? So we're constantly getting asked what we're doing about it or whether or not we're even doing anything about it. In fact, Chris responded to somebody who commented on a great video from Dan Calkins asking, well, why isn't ABATE involved in the trailer plate issue? Those of you that are watching, hey, are we involved in the trailer plate issue at all? I mean, have you guys heard me talk about this subject at all before? This has been 18 months. This has been since October of 2019. ABATE of Illinois has been talking about this. Okay? It's insane that we've had to be talking about it. For those of you that don't know, the whole issue is this. This should have never happened. The 500% increase on TA plates going from $18 to $118 was never supposed to happen. It was a clerical error. They did not intend for it. I can tell you right now, former State Senator Martin Sandoval, rest his soul, when we were discussing the issue of trailer plates and hiking up the fees on it, his intent was to target large trailers that have massive effect on roadway usage, not trailers that are 3,000 pounds or less. So what are we doing about it? We've raised awareness of the issue. We've fought back bad information in the form of the ST plate stuff that goes around. If you see anybody sharing the ST plate, we've covered it numerous times. You're opening yourself up to a lot of legal possibilities there, and we don't recommend it. But yet people are talking about it. And how do I know people are talking about it or how it's catching fire? Because 2019 to 2020, 40,000 ST plates issued, when in an average year it's right around 18 to 20. So there's a large number of ST plates that suddenly got issued. There were 150,000 TA plates that disappeared from 2019 to 2020. So we know people are fed up. So the question always is what we are doing about it. We're doing everything we can. I text people routinely. I talk to a lot of different people. There's a lot of things going on there. But here's the better question. What are you who are watching this video right now, what are you doing about trailer plates? What do I mean by that? How many of you out there that have complained about this or continually complain about it, how many of you have called your state rep? How many of you are continually calling your state rep every day or every other day? How many of you have called Revenue Chairman Mike Zaleski? Mike Zaleski, Representative Zaleski, he was referenced on the floor of the House about how he's the one who held up a bill that had 63 sponsors. Have you called him? Have you voiced your opinion? And by the way, when you make these phone calls, be polite. I cannot stress this enough. Okay? Call, be polite. The young folks that answer the phone, legislative assistants, they are the front line for everything. Just call, state your point, state how you're upset, and then move on. But be polite about it. But here's the thing. I have to work within the framework of the General Assembly. There are things I really can't say. I have to be polite about things. So one of the groups that's organized against us, I'm going to let Chris talk about it. I'm going to let Chris talk about a few things here. Because I myself, I have to be professional about things. There are things, like I said, I can't say. Fortunately, we've got Chris. Chris, if you would, please.
Well, Josh, I understand that in your position, there are things that you can't say and you have a certain way you have to do things. However, guess what? I can say them and I'm going to say them. And I'm going to say this. If this doesn't show the 100% ineptitude of this state at times, it's ridiculous. We have a bill with 63 co-sponsors, 63, Democrat, Republican. There's lists. I mean, we have a list of 63 that have signed on to do this. And it's being held up because Mike Zaleski wants to know where the revenue that we're going to take away is going to come from. Well, guess what? You should have never had it in the first place. It was a clerical error. You can't replace money you never had. So, yes, this is absolutely insane. A 500% increase that should have never happened because of a clerical error, and you got Mike Zaleski holding it up for whatever reason he thinks is a good idea. And I guarantee it's not. But Josh makes a good point. What are you doing about it? And the group that he's talking about is the labor unions. The labor unions signed on as against the reduction of trailer plate fees. And as in typical fashion, it seems in this state, and again, I have nothing against unions. Let me make that clear. Nothing against them. But every time the labor unions or any unions say, oh, no, we don't like that, well, now we just tuck our tails and run. I am beyond sick of it. And like I said, Josh made a good point. What are you doing? Let me give you an example. He sent out that email last Friday and said, hey, I need you to go out and fill witness slips. Well, what are you doing? He sent this out. We have thousands and thousands of members in A.B.A.T.E of Illinois. 400 people opened the email. Out of the 400 that opened the email, less than 100 of them went and filled out witness slips. So what are you doing? Everybody's griping about it. Hell, I'm griping about it every day. But what are you doing about it? If you're going to complain about it, when you get these emails and say, hey, go fill out a witness slip, call your senators, call your state representatives, why aren't you doing it? It's great that you want to gripe and complain. You should. We all are. But if you're not going to do anything to make a difference, then please stop griping because you're not helping. If you're pissed off like I am, if you're pissed off like everybody is, and you want to do something, then do something. Don't just sit around, oh, somebody else will do it. They'll handle it. I don't have to. Bull. Get out and do something. Do something. Fill out these witness slips. Like Josh said, call your state rep. There's no reason you shouldn't be doing it. Now, a couple of things I want to point out, and this is just me. I wouldn't pay the $118. Josh can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't pay it because a cop is not going to stop you for an expired trailer plate. Just saying. And if you do get stopped on some rare occasion for that, it's a $75 fine. 75 bucks. You're half of what they're trying to charge you for these plates that they shouldn't be charging you in the first place, Mike Zaleski. Or there's the Maine option. You can look at registering your trailer plate in Maine. That's a much cheaper option, and I believe it's lifetime if I'm not mistaken. Look at these options, because if the state of Illinois wants to ignore us, if Mike Zaleski wants to keep burying this thing in committee, then look for other options. And like Josh said, stop with the semi-trailer thing that is not a fix. Stop posting that, for God's sake. But you have options. You cannot pay it. I'm not. I'm telling everybody I know, don't pay it. It's ridiculous, and we shouldn't have to pay it. We have, here, look, we have 63 co-sponsors that agree with us. You only need 60 to pass the House. This would fly through. There's senators we know that are waiting to grab this when it comes out of the House and run with it. And they're going to bury it. So yeah, don't pay it. Look at Maine plates. And for God's sake, when we have these issues, and you want to gripe, as you should, when you get these things and they say call your state representatives, fill out witness slips, I don't want to see 90 people out of the thousands that we have member-wise do that. I should log into the ILGA website, see these bills, look at witness slips, and see 17 pages of these things. And I don't. So I'm sorry, but if you're not going to do anything to help fix the problem, then don't gripe to me about it.
So, with that said, one of the other things that's going on out there right now, we're the only group talking about this. That's the weird part. You got friends that are fishermen. You got friends that tow snowmobiles. You got friends that do ski-doos, whatever's going on out there. We don't see any other groups. There's no trailer group going on talking about this. There's no fishing groups that I see. The fishing groups are out there posting that stupid semi-trailer thing yet again. So there's all that going. James, you asked in the comments what revenue. So yes, they lost 150,000 TA plates. And understand, this was supposed to have gotten fixed last year prior to trailer plate registrations being issued out. But even though they lost 150,000 TA plates, they still gained $27.4 million in revenue because of the ridiculous increase. And like Chris said, the 150,000 that were lost, that may have been people that just simply are refusing to pay. Now, me being somebody who's involved as an advocate or involved in lobbying, I'm not going to strongly encourage you to take the action of not paying. However, what Chris said is factually correct. If you choose not to pay, it is less of a ticket or less of a fee to get the violation, should anybody pull you over for a trailer plate, than it is to actually pay the fee and have it properly registered. Some other not exactly legal activities that I have heard about, and I'm not recommending, I'm just saying I've heard about them, is individuals who have 3 or 4 trailers. Maybe they're only registering one plate and then using that plate on multiple trailers. I've heard of people that are doing that. I have heard of elected officials who may be engaging in that kind of thing. I can't remember exactly who, but, I've heard it around. They know this is wrong, but they don't seem to want to be working on it. And we may have to apply more pressure. And I'm not sure what form that's going to take just yet, but, it is something that we are working with. The other one that Chris mentioned, the Maine trailer plates, Maine trailer plates from the state of Maine. It's an out-of-state registration. There is a law in Illinois that says if you are trying to register your vehicle or your whatever out of state in an attempt to avoid Illinois fees, you can be held liable for that. However, in order to do that, they have to convene an administrative hearing, which means they have to pay a lawyer at least an hour for him to sit as an administrative law judge in an administrative hearing, plus all the other costs involved with putting that hearing on. for a $118 plate if you were to go the main option. Just saying, it's not legal, but this is what will happen if you were to do it. So take that all into advisement. We're not telling you to do these things, but you can figure out how you want to treat things on your own. Now, at least I'm not telling you how to do it. Chris, he's saying something a little bit different over there. So I'll let him go as he is. But that's where we're at with trailer plates, folks. You know, you keep asking, this is what we're trying to do. I send out text messages almost every day on this issue. So that's the way that we go with it. So, having said all of that, let's go to the wrap up here. Chris, thank you very much, buddy. If you want to log off, we're good here. So, letting Chris know that he can go, try to get some bandwidth back there. Anyway, so wrap up. James, thank you for filling out your witness slips. I hope I answered your questions about revenue. Let me see if there's anything else going on out there. Any safety and ed people, if you're safety and ed, Brandon Barton's looking for folks that are safety and ed. Great to see all the different chapters out there. We've got 10 Mile Creek going on. I've got Eastern Illinois out there. Got Freeport going on. Duquesne, Chris commenting. Heart of Illinois saying they're there. Open Roads. Central Illinois A.B.A.T.E. Lincoln Land A.B.A.T.E.'s there. I'm seeing Prairie Land. Let's see, who else do we have out there? Oh, yep, and that looks to be about it. Oh, and I'm seeing, looks like Great River, I think, out there, or Big River, I should say. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's what's going on. Seeing no other questions. At the beginning of the program, I was showing a PSA from Tobacco Motorwear. Kishwaukee Valley, Taz checking in. So Tobacco Motorwear, if you don't know who they are, they're kind of a niche motorwear, motorcycle clothing company, but they make some really killer public service announcements. And my favorite one is centered around none other than Deadpool himself, Ryan Reynolds. I played it at the beginning. Illini chapter, Lemoyne, good to see you guys. I'm going to play it again, hopefully this time with the audio coming through. Sorry for that little bit, but I'm going to play it. It's about 2 minutes. Watch it. Get a kick out of it. I'm going to post the link to the YouTube video in the comments. Then afterwards, you're just going to catch the end credits, and we are done for the evening. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. This has been This Week in A.B.A.T.E. Do watch this little PSA because I get a huge kick out of it. So here we go, hopefully.